My bunions! Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 69. It is Friday, but it's also the day that I normally do my shotgun dropkick workout, but I'm going actually instead the day after. Everything got pushed a day a little bit after because I went to the cherry blossoms to go see them with a couple of buddies of mine, and I have a story to tell about that. But today it is the vampire killer workout, so I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm feeling good. My legs are a little tired, but that doesn't matter today, so looking forward to that. But anyways, so yesterday I went to go see the cherry blossoms with a couple buddies of mine. One of them I know definitely watches the channel, so they're gonna watch this. That's why the beginning intro was its intro. So we go down there, we're chatting, we're catching up, right? We're enjoying the scenery, the beautiful scenery of the lakefront with the cherry blossoms and all that other jazz. You know, it's a little muddy because it's been raining for the past few days, but whatever, it is what it is. We were just talking, and we were talking to my other friend Shams. Shout out Shams. This entire video is based off of an experience that he had at the gym, and I guess it's a good starting point to where we can go from anywhere. This is episode 69. I was thinking about doing something like over-sexualization in media in general and in social media in particular. I was thinking about doing something like that, but we'll wait on that subject. That's a little heavy, and I'm feeling a little lighthearted today, so especially after hearing this story. So my friend, he goes to a different gym in the area. I'm not going to say the gym because I actually want to go to this gym. He apparently had an ordeal once while working out at night it was two guys working out, and they had a camera on, and when the camera is on, some people for some reason end up changing their personalities in its entirety to become more like playing it up for the camera, right? So he was talking to us, I should say, about how when he was there, it was 11 at night, so it was a nighttime, so they were cool with the cameras, whatever, it wasn't that full, but he could tell that one of these dudes was hyping it up for the camera, right? So he was like, all right, whatever. He was just minding his own business, and apparently they kept trying to get him to react to him, like the dudes working out, so they kept like filming him slightly, so he was just like annoyed, obviously, because you know, when you're at the gym and filming like a video, that seems like, I do it, yes, but I'm just recording my sets. I don't do any like interactions. I'm not trying to be a dickhead to anybody. If anybody gets in front of the camera, that is totally fine. It's an open space for everybody that is a paying customer, you know what I mean? Like, I am just happen to film everything, but that's what I'm doing for my own purposes. That's why I like to do a voiceover. This guy, on the other hand, was hamming it up for the camera and trying to berate my friend a little bit there, and I was like, okay, that's annoying. But then there was a certain point that got me, because he was just like, I was just like, what? So at a certain point, my friend says he took out his notebook and started writing down some notes, you know, for his, training log. I do the same thing, but mine is on a spreadsheet, so mine's on my phone. So some people have a physical book. This is normal. This isn't even like anything too crazy, but apparently the guy who was hamming it up looked at him, and he pointed at him and said, "Science-based training? Science-based training?" That is the funniest thing I've heard in quite some time. I literally died laughing. Science-based training? Science-based training? Like, alright. I am not the first defendant of science-based training. In fact, I'd probably be more on the bro science area of it. But with that being said, tracking your progress and or having a log of what you're doing is not science-based training, one, but two, also it boggles the mind that that was something that is, quote, considered science-based, in that you're just tracking what you're doing. Yes, it might be in the realm of science, but it's also in the realm of normal keeping. You know, bookkeeping is something that people do, you know, keeping track of your money. I wouldn't say that's considered scientific, you know, so it's just hilarious that this entire thing happened to him. And not only that, but he's not even like that super sciencey based things. Like, you know, they'll take some things like most people do, most regular people do, before they get like, you know, they don't dive in too heavy deep into the science-based, not science-based thing. But still, he was just like, what the fuck? And even I'm like, what the fuck? And then you wonder why there's so many people who are stuck with either shit or mid physiques or stop going or plateau or just just don't figure anything out and then just stay forever novice because they just either shun one side of the argument or shun the other side of it. It's kind of crazy. Like, there's always a healthy balance between the two, and in the voiceover I'll get super into that. But there's a healthy balance that has to happen between horse cocking weight and tracking the weight and making sure that you're not horse cocking in a terrible way, you know what I mean? Where you're gonna fuck your shit up, you know what I mean? So there is a balance. But to point out that something like that, to just be tracking as to being science-based training, is such a ridiculous thing that I need to go on a little bit of a rant during the voiceover, which we will do on the inside. Alright, so I'll start on this day with overhead press, and I actually got a PR, so I'm going up finally in number of sets. There you go. Which took a lot out of me, but still felt great. I loved doing these. I love doing them no matter what. I think it's time to discuss a little bit about this science-based training. Now, generally speaking, personally, I find science-based training to be meh. I'm not necessarily one to be over-reliant on certain things. I like a healthy mix of stuff, you know, barbell movements and, you know, machines and old school stuff plus new school stuff, things like that. I am a big fan of combining everything. I think science-based training looks a little too much on like the machines and all these other things in order to make stimulus, while there are certain things where it's just get the heavy bar and call it a day, you know? Personally, that's how I see it as. I don't hate science, but I can see where people are over-reliant on it, so they'll be like, what does this study say? And or go right into it, believing the next study and just immediately implementing the next thing into their training. Whilst, you know, it's like almost a program hopping, but with science techniques or whatever the hell is the new flavor of the month. For example, like 52 sets or some shit like that a week for quads, like something along those lines, which I get is like cool that they found something like that. Like, you know, they found some scientific evidence, whatever. I don't necessarily care, because at the end of the day, most of the people who are super into it are trying to find excuses to change their programs anyway. So I personally just don't get it, don't see it. I'm very much a once I've set and forget kind of. Obviously there are some changes every once in a while. I'll actually talk about that later, as I have a couple of changes in here. There's also a set of something I didn't record here. Well, I did record, actually. I apologize. The camera angle was terrible, so I didn't actually catch myself doing it on camera. So those will be saved for the next week. But anyways. I think that sometimes people overlook like the basic stuff, squat, bench, deadlift, all that other jazz. I feel like those who are super science-based just for some reason forget that the basics work for most people. I'm not gonna say that though they work for everyone, nor should I say that they are required. Honestly, they aren't even necessarily that pertinent. I made an entire video about that, how I eliminated bench and deadlift, but that was more because of my personal body and my personal I was gonna say my body, my choice, but no, but my personal experiences with those two in particular / one in particular. Deadlifts, for me, I was not getting the quote back gains that I wanted per se, so I just wanted something a little bit more direct for certain areas, so that's why I changed it out. It wasn't like I hated deadlifting. In fact, I do miss deadlifting. I do enjoy doing it, but it was one of those things where I wanted to focus on certain parts of my body so that were not being hit very well by the deadlift, so I had to eliminate it. It's less sciencey. Well, it's less science-based and more just personal experience-based, although it is an experiment to yourself, you know what I mean? So in the essence, it's kind of sciencey, but not really, because it's yourself. So you kind of figure that out on your own. Personally, that's why I got rid of that. And then the bench was for multiple reasons. It was just because my shoulder was fucked for a little while there, and I didn't want to keep fucking it up. And also because of I wanted less emphasis on my chest. I didn't really care about my chest that much. I wanted to grow my back more, so that's why I moved to more back movements in general. But people will look at those basics and and then just scoff at it because there's a machine that can hit the muscle slightly better. And I get it, the machines are great, but not all machines are built equally. I think that even those who are in the machine versus free weights debate can also attest to that, because there are some machines that are pure garbage, and or the manufacturer who makes them are not that great. So there are those. I think generally speaking, mostly I think the entire idea that tracking is science-based is quite comical, because it's just not even science-based. That's just more regular, I gotta keep track of what's going on. I used the analogy earlier. It's like saying that tracking what the amount of money you have in the bank is science-based. No, there are certain things where tracking is just a regular thing to do. I don't think it's science-based. Whenever I'm tracking my calories, that isn't science-based. Whenever I'm tracking what I did in the day or whatever, you know, it's not necessarily science-based. So I find that these people who would be, quote, pointing and laughing at my friend for tracking what he's doing is quite astonishing to me, and slash kind of worrisome that that is getting a weird kickback from people, because that's just normal. I don't even think that's like anything too crazy, just to keep track. It is interesting that of all the things that there could possibly be kickback on, it's tracking. It's astonishing. Side note, this was the exercise I was going to mention earlier that I said I was going to get to later that I added to the day. Instead of farmer's carries, I replaced it with these chest-supported shrugs. I liked them so far. I really did enjoy them, so we'll see how they go. Science-based training! Science-based training! And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped. Pec deck. Pec deck is on the chopping block again, mostly because I want to do it via dumbbells versus the actual pec deck itself. But we'll have to wait and see if that is an option. So, to get back a little bit to it, I gotta say, this subject matter, very stupid but very funny at the same time. I mean, come on now. How ridiculous is it that somebody actually stopped and pointed out the idea of science-based training? Science-based training. You know, that's so fucking stupid to me. Holy shit. I cannot believe that it has gotten to the point where the hate for science-based has gotten to the point where even just like normal like actions is considered science-based, which is quite strange and honestly kind of scary, in the sense that you're gonna get people that are gonna have a bunch of issues down the line because they don't want to do simple things like tracking. Like, the fuck? Like, these are the same probably type of people that like go on a hope and a prayer on like swiping debit card hoping that there's money on there, which is insane, you know? Like, what the fuck? There are levels to it, you know? And I am not an ardent sciencey type of person, you know? I like the idea of having fun at the gym, and that being like the key factor in a lot of the decisions that you make in the gym. But even still, I have to say there are some things that the science people get right, aka there are enough things that we've learned through science that we can throw away some of the bullshit and we don't have to worry about the bullshit, and it's less to worry about and more for us to grow better, you know, and quicker, you know? So that's why it's crazy to me, the term throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah, that entire thing of just getting rid of everything that science does without actually thinking about what they could do, you know what I mean? I am not the first offended, but also, come on now. What is that? What is that? And I know, I get it. I used to be a streamer, so I understand the entire playing it up for the camera ordeal. But even then, I understand too that there is a level to it where you're just being cringe, you know? I hate the term and I hate using it in this context, but come on now. What are you doing? What are you doing at the gym? I would love to see these guys. I wish I would know what they would look like. I would love to see them, maybe do a laugh, a hoot, a holler, you know, science-based training, have a good conversation with them, try to grow, get their knowledge college and see what's going on. See what gym influencer they get influenced by. See what pre-workouts they do. See what bro splits they end up doing. You know, just the predictability of it. See how much Mike Mentzer played a role in their gym journey, you know? It's always a similar crop of certain people. I don't need to know what they look like, but I already know who they are by certain aspects of it, you know? That's why certain parts of gym culture fucking suck, and I might talk about it tomorrow, but I don't know. Maybe tomorrow will be something different, because tomorrow I'm going to the gym on a Saturday, which is a weekend, and it's been a while since I've gone to the gym on the weekend because it fucking sucks, because it's always packed. Even though it's Saturday morning, you'd think that everybody was like, oh, I went out Friday night, but no, Saturday morning, super packed, so kind of fucking stupid. But anyways, it is what it is. But that will be for tomorrow, and that will be for future Oscar to figure out what the subject matter will be. But for this one, tell me what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts, comments, concerns. It just seems funny to me. It's a very funny subject generally. You don't have to necessarily comment on the fact that you may or may not do science-based training, but where has science led you to believe other things? Let's say that. There you go. We'll go there. And maybe the influence that certain scientific things have had. We'll see. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I will be back on with another video tomorrow. Thank you very much. I will see you on the next one. Peace.